Welcome to the Money Chisme podcast, a fun and safe space for personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship tips where we get the chisme on all things money with sass and humor. I am your host, Violeta, a first-generation Mexican immigrant, a real estate investor, entrepreneur, and I am here to help you kick ass in the financial game. Each week, I not only bring you expert tips, but also share the financial freedom and entrepreneurship journeys from our own community because representation is important. So grab un cafecito or si quieres an adult beverage and let's get into this week's Money Chisme. So I know we all did this when we were younger. We would just, dream about, being rich and what that would look like to be, have that financial freedom and not live like paycheck to paycheck and, be able to buy all the fancy things. And, I was reflecting on it recently. And my thoughts on how I view what wealth looks like is definitely different than when I was younger. So recently I was in one of my mastermind groups that I'm in for real estate investing. And this week we were, kind of reflecting on how our mindset has changed on what we want to accomplish with real estate investing because our views on financial freedom and wealth has changed. Most of us, when we started this journey, we were thinking like we wanted to be super rich and have like properties and accumulate wealth. And now that has changed a little bit. And so I want to kind of reflect on it and kind of, take you through like the journey of when I wanted all these things and how it has changed now and what my thoughts are now. And maybe yours, mindset has changed as well. And I want to redefine what financial freedom looks like because I feel like a lot of first gens and, other Hispanic Latinos in our community, we kind of reach for the sky with a lot of things because we are have a lot of ambition. We have this high drive because we have to prove ourselves and all that. And that definitely was me. I fell into that trap of like really wanting to do the most and the best and go after the degree, go after the high paying job and all that stuff. And now that I'm financially stable and on this financial freedom journey, like a lot of that has changed. And it's crazy because I remember when I was little that we would take these family drives, for whatever reason. Maybe we went out to eat or something. And then afterwards, sometimes we end up driving around. My parents would take me and my sister out on these drives and we go to like the rich area, the rich neighborhoods, and we would see all these casotas, these big giant houses, and these fancy cars, and like people, women walking around with their Louis Vuitton purses and stuff. And I think about it, and I, at that age, was like, this is what being rich looks like. This is what it feels like. And when I grow up, I'm going to be like them and get my casota and get my car. And it's funny because like one of the cars that, drew me in was a Lexus, and it was the SUV. I can't think of like the model number right now, but to me at that age, I was probably like, I don't know, like 8 or 9, and probably sometimes maybe middle school age, I guess. But like that car really stood out to me. It looked just so sleek and so fancy to me. And I was like, yo, like when I get older and I start making money and everything, like me voy a comprar ese carro. I'm gonna buy that car. And, side note, The funny thing, I also would promise my dad that I was gonna buy him a Corvette, and sometimes he still reminds me of that I haven't bought him his Corvette. I mean, jokingly, of course, but I just thought that was something that funny that I would say when I was younger. Um, but I did end up doing that. In 2019, I actually did end up buying, my first Lexus. And of course, thankfully, at that time, I was a little bit, it's still early in my personal finance journey, but I had learned enough to know not to buy my Lexus brand new. So I bought a pre-owned Lexus, and it was beautiful. It was white. It had red leather seats, like dark tinted windows. It was nice. Like, I liked it. I thought it was fancy. I was like bougie and whatever. And I bought that car for myself in 2019. It was a pre-graduation present because I was technically supposed to graduate in December, but the two classes that I needed were pushed to spring, so then I had to wait to springtime, so I ended up graduating in May. But me compré el carro, right? I saw it. I was on the lookout for it. I saw it on the website, and I was like, yo, I gotta go get this car. This is what I want. It's my graduation present. And also, I got a promotion at that time. I became an officer, and well, the following when I graduated. So it was like my graduation and my promotion present. And at that time, I also bought myself a Louis Vuitton purse, which just like, I think I only used it like maybe 5 times, and then it just sat in the closet collecting dust because then I was scared to like mess it up because it was so fancy and whatever. So like, that was a waste of money. Um, but then in 2021, I did buy La Casota, right? Like the big house that when I was little seemed like huge to me and still is, right? And I bought that house in 2021, and like, I thought I had made it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm on track. I got my like the big house. I got my nice car, and the purse, and I'm buying these things. And I did go on a little like spree of buying random bougie things like Gucci sneakers and whatever. And I was like, oh, God, like, I reflect on that back, and I was like, you know what, whatever. I had fun. I had the money. I didn't have no responsibilities at that time. So whatever. I had, fun with my money, and I have some of those things still. I sold that Louis Vuitton purse like last year because I got tired of it just collecting dust. I was like, you know what? Let me let somebody else enjoy it. And the car, though, I ended up paying it off. But this is where my mindset kind of started to shift, and I started seeing the car. Like, I still love that car. Like, I still miss it sometimes. But I went from, having the big house and the fancy car and the bougie freaking purse to now, like, I sold that house. I'm renting now a 2-bedroom apartment, and I'm driving around a beat up 2010 Honda Civic que no tiene AC, doesn't have AC. But I feel wealthier and more on track than when I had the other three things. And that is because I ended up selling the Lexus. I already mentioned that I sold the purse, um, but I also sold the Lexus because we had three cars. Like, we had bought the Honda Civic for my husband because he has a truck, and at that time, gas prices over here in California were like basically $6. So it was killing him when he had to drive about an hour to work and back, and it was just eating up like our budget. And so we spent like $1,200 for this little car to get shipped out to California from Texas. And that was in 2021, I believe. And it's been, it's dude, it's a ride and die type of car. Like, it it works. It's great on gas. I spend like $40 on it, or $45 a week on it probably. And it's just reliable car. And so I took it over because I ended up deciding that I wanted to buy some land, and I needed to get the down payment for it. So I said bye to my Lexus. I sold that car, and I used that money for a down payment for 10 acres of land. I feel like, although I missed the car, like it was a better financial decision for me, because now I secured the land that I want to be able to build my home. Which brings me to the second thing, which is that I sold my house. And I had a lot of equity in it, but I did end up using some of the equity to fund a surrogacy journey, and which resulted with my daughter. So I had a second mortgage on it. And then, of course, the insurance was going up, property taxes were going up, and it was just getting like pretty expensive to just have this house. And it was a 4-bedroom home, and it was just me, my husband, and we didn't have my daughter at that time. Well, most of the time. But like, I was like, we're not using these other rooms. And although I was renting out one of the rooms to one of my friends, it's just like, I don't want to keep this house. We need to kind of downgrade because we need to start planning the build for the other home, because we moved back to Texas in another year. And so we wanted to just really cut back and get rid of that second mortgage and just really start focusing on the future. And so we sold the house last month in August, and still, ended up with some extra cash on top of paying off the second mortgage that we took out. And, it's all Gucci now. And so now the funds that I do have, I do plan to put them on towards another rental property, to continue building my rental property portfolio. But like I was saying earlier, my mindset has changed a little bit. The goal is still the same, building financial freedom, building multiple sources of income, and building some generational wealth to leave behind for, the kids, right? But like for me now, with how much I actually need to be financially free has definitely changed, because I no longer want like a big giant house. Like I don't want to build a big giant house on my property, on my land, because like realistically I don't need that much space. Especially, I think part of it has changed now that I downsized to a 2-bedroom. Is like I really only need like a kitchen, a nice size living room, and the beds I really don't care, because I don't spend time in bedrooms. I only use them to sleep. But the priority is to have a nice big outdoor kitchen and lounge area outside, because I love being outside. And I plan to homestead, so I just want to like plant some veggies and grow some food and raise some chickens and maybe some goats. I don't know. So like it's going to be very low cost. And I do plan on like, building my podcast studio / YouTube studio there. And so I'll be able to kind of rent, from my business can rent from myself and get some tax benefits from there, and possibly like put a maybe some type of rental property on there. So I'm looking into that too, to bring in some rental income as well, and further get take advantage of some tax benefits. But I don't need that much money anymore. Like I don't need to be this multi-millionaire, like super duper rich and everything like that. I want to have enough to sustain myself, to provide for my parents that are basically retirement age, coming up on that age. So, I need to help out with that and be able to travel, provide for the kids. And, I do want to buy a home in Mexico. So, and that's it. Like, I don't need to be able to afford a yacht. I don't need to go buy a condo at the highest building and who knows where, some bougie ass area. It's like, I think a lot of us are going through this kind of reflection period, and I see it a lot, at least on my side of like TikTok and stuff, of where people are just trying to pull back and just trying to not have that 9 to 5 anymore, and just be able to have enough financial freedom to enjoy life, provide for their kids, and travel or whatever other hobbies you may have. And I wanted to bring this up because a lot of small time investors are just that. They just want this financial freedom to do all those things, but also probably bring down their own housing costs and stuff. And that's why I'm like here, promoting real estate investing, and I'm so passionate about it because, like, when you think of a real estate investor, you do think about these big time companies and these big time multimillionaires with 100+ properties. And it makes it like feel intimidating and less achievable and kind of like, that's not for me, when it can be, because it could help you accomplish, some goals, some of your dreams, and help you build that financial freedom. And I want to change what a real estate investor looks like, because could be a small timer like me or possibly you. And I just want to say, like, that's okay. Like, you don't have to want to be rich, or like, rich in terms of like being multi millionaires, right? Like, wanting to just be able to be financially stable, a little bit of financial freedom and things like that is doable, and it's okay. And I just wanted to kind of like change a little bit of the mindset. And so I want to show that, having smaller goals in regards to financial freedom and wealth and rich, it's okay. We don't have to, shoot for the moon or the stars or whatever. We can, have it a little bit simpler if you want to live a simpler life, but, not have to worry about money. Real estate investing can help you do that as well. So I'm curious to know, what does financial freedom look like to you? What does being rich look like to you? And has your views changed from, when you first started your journey to now? And if you want to be super rich, that's super cool too. I'm not saying don't, shoot for that. And don't forget, if you do want to learn about rental property investing so you could build multiple sources of income and build financial freedom, I do have a free download, a free ebook down below on how to buy your first rental property. Make sure you check that out. And I will see you in the next one. Hasta luego. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like and share this episode so others can also find this podcast. Don't forget to follow me on all my social medias listed in the show notes below, where you can also find resources to help you in your financial journey. If you're interested in becoming a guest on the podcast, you can find that information in the show notes. Other than that, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.